It's over. Time to say it again, Boston. Anything's possible. Banner number 18 has been secured. Throwing in the corner. Brown fakes, fires up the three. Bang! Bang! Missed free throw. Horford the rebound. Here's Pritchard. He loves these. Puts it up half court of the buzzer. Bang!
Tatum. Oh, what a fake. Tatum. You bet.
Hello everyone, and welcome in to your Celtics source, home of your 29-12 second place Boston Celtics. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. The Boston Celtics have been going through a prolonged slump for pretty much the last month, and I wanted to take the time to really dive into what's been going on, right? First half of this video, I will sort of talk about sort of what is the problem with the Celtics. And there are multiple problems. It's not just one. It's not just the effort, which I will talk about. And then second half, I will sort of talk about how we fix this. Please like and subscribe, as well as follow me on social media so you don't miss out on any news, scores, highlights, and more from the 2024 Boston Celtics. Okay, right? The starting five is the first thing that comes to mind when we think of this team that's struggling and is really 7-7 in their last 14 games. Right? And I went ahead and I found the net rating from their last 10 games and of just the starting five, and I did it with both KP and Al because really they've been interchangeably, right? And in their last 10 games, they have a net rating of 2.2, right? And that leaves no error for your bench unit to even lose any minutes, right? And luckily the bench unit has been playing well, and they've been making up for some of the slack that the Celtics starting five has been missing, right? Peyton Pritchard has been going off for pretty much the entire season, and he's cooled off a little bit, right? He was averaging 16 to 17 points to start the season, and now he's down to 15. But even that, on days when the Celtics have a -10, there's no chance of winning that game. Right? And you might ask, why are the Celtics struggling so much? And I have maybe three theories for this. Right? The first is their playing time. Right? They've only played 7 games together, something like that, under 230 minutes total for the season, with KP missing the first month or so of the season, and then guys just getting injured, right? We've had a very uncharacteristic, besides KP, right, because we know he's going to be in and out of the lineup. Any little thing could send him out for the next month or so. So I'm always worried with him, but when I'm thinking about all these injuries, Hauser's been out with his back problems, Holiday's missed some time, even Tatum, Brown have missed a couple games. Right? Tatum never misses a game. So something's, and the league as a whole is very injured. I don't know if there's something about just unlucky or the way they're calling stuff. But anyway, when it comes to the Celtics, right, they just don't have that chemistry. Right? You can't play very sparing minutes together and immediately be back to the way you guys were playing last year. And, the second reason for this very unfortunate, but I guess every team goes through it. But the slump, right, is the shooting, right? Al Horford, 37%. Holiday, 34%, right? That's down 20% on corner threes after he shot like 60% last season. And I don't know if it's with Horford and Holiday, if it's old age or just something's, they're not getting the right looks, right? Because the Celtics have been generating open looks. They just cannot get them to fall. White, 37, Tatum, 36. Both of those down a full point from last season. And Brown, 32%. Right? You can't have Brown shooting under 32%. Right? That's a huge reason why this why the Celtics are struggling right now. Like, it's one, like, Jaylen Brown has almost completely eliminated his shooting, 3-point shooting from the game. Right? He's only taking 1 or 2 a game. And it's better, right, for if he's getting points in the paint, but you have to be able to knock down threes to keep you honest. Because, to keep the defense honest, right? Because if Brown is just not making a shot, defenses will start to leave him open in the corner, and that really hurts the Celtics because they can double Tatum, they can double other guys, and make it really hard for anyone else to get shots, right? Really, the only player that's playing well right now is KP, and he's missed the most time out of everyone, right? But the Celtics are forcing the KP mismatch and post-ups way too much, right? The league has cut back on fouls and trying to limit the scoring a little bit and let guys play. And KP's getting hacked multiple times on possessions, and sometimes they're just not being called, right? And he's going up for these sort of post-ups and turn and jumpers right over guys, and he's missing them, and they're not getting called. Right? They need to use KP more in pick and pops, where he can set a screen and then jump out to the 3-point line. Maybe use him in lobs, right? There's nobody else that is 7'4" most of the time when you're playing. Just throw it up to him. Let him meet it above the rim. That's a free points. Ghost screens work well. A ghost screen is where you go to set a screen and then you just don't set the screen and go right through. And that confuses defenses because they sort of mix up their coverages, and sometimes that leaves the guy wide open. Right? And then the third reason is obviously the defense. And unfortunately, that corresponds directly with effort. And there's also the communication aspect of it. Right? The effort is not fighting through screens. Guys are like, yeah, he's not a great shooter, so I'll just leave him open instead of fighting through screens to make sure, even if he's not a great shooter, you're still contesting it. Right? And because they're getting open shots and the Celtics are practically daring them to shoot, guys are starting to feel comfortable. And when they get comfortable, they start making their shots, whether they're, according to their numbers, they're a good shooter or not. Right? The Celtics are shooting poorly. Teams aren't leaving them open. So why are the Celtics leaving other teams open who, at the moment, are better shooters than what the Celtics are doing? Right? And then there's that sort of really lack of creativity. Like, Joe Mazzulla's not really changing up lineups, right? Kata hasn't played at all in the last couple games, right? Kata might lack in his like IQ and basketball knowledge, right? He's young, he hasn't learned all that stuff yet, but what he brings is that physicality and effort every single night that nobody else is bringing maybe Peyton Pritchard, right? If Peyton Pritchard's able to get 4 or 5 offensive rebounds as the shortest guy on the court, and the Celtics and the starters can't even manage to get defensive rebounds, which are even easier, but they're also much taller, right? Other teams are getting tons of second chance opportunities and hurting the Celtics in that because the Celtics have to scramble out and guard and they mix up their coverages. Right? Second chance points are detrimental to any team. And the Celtics are just not a good rebounding team right now. Right? When Jayson Tatum has to come in and help rebound, like that game against the Kings where Porzingis and Horford together couldn't even box out Domantas Sabonis. And I know Sabonis is really good and like he's known for that, but two guys that are both taller than him, you have to be able to box them out. And the fact that JT had to come in and make it a 3-on-1 slows down their transition. Right? They couldn't get out as fast. They couldn't get easier points. And when that happens, the offense gets harder. You miss shots, and they go right down the other end in transition and score. Right? And there's ways to fix this, right? I'll move on to how to fix this. Right? The obvious answer is shooting, right? You just shoot better. You play with more effort on defense. Right? The shooting might get better or it might not. But the effort should never be the reason that a team loses. Right? You should always be playing hard. You should always be diving for balls on the floor. Right? I don't even care about like loose balls that you're not even getting to because those come from awkward bounces. But the fact that on any given possession, there might be 4 or 5 guys that are wide open. No, not 4 or 5. 1 or 2 guys that are wide open for a team, and you can't even get your coverages right. Like, come on. Right? And right, I talked about this earlier, but using KP, right, it goes much beyond the shooting and the defense. It's the way you're drawing up plays, trying to force a mismatch that is only working 50% of the time, maybe at best. Right? Use Jayson Tatum more. I think when Jayson Tatum's usage is like over 40 or something like that, maybe over 30, they're like 15-3 or something like that. Like the Celtics last year did a really good job of spreading it out. The offense could come from anybody at any time, and that worked. I don't think that's going to work this year. I think Horford and Holiday, right, they're just not keeping up with the production. I think we need to go with what some of the not completely what other teams are doing, but like just a little bit more of one player. Most teams only have 1 or 2 guys that are all-stars or even really top 40 guys in the league. So like the Celtics have that luxury that they might have 3 or 4. But it's not working because there's just too many people, right? If Jayson Tatum just plays the ball's in his hand just a little bit more, I think the Celtics will have an easier time because he's able to make plays for other people that guys like Brown, Horford, KP, and even White right now are struggling to do. Right? We have a big stretch coming up, right? We have the Hawks game tonight. I'll actually be going live for that game, live play-by-play commentary, so make sure to tune in for that starting at 6:45. But then beyond that, right, we have the Warriors in San Francisco, Monday, Clippers, Lakers, Mavs, all West Coast trip here. And the Warriors, right, and the Mavs, they might be struggling. Really, all these teams might be struggling just a tiny bit. But the Celtics are going to get demolished if we can't figure out how to pick this up. Right? We're halfway through the season. We just played game 41. And it seems like right now that we're not close to being ready. Like, we had a great game against the Magic last night. The shooting came back. We did shoot 50% from 3. But, right, until they do multiple games in a row where they're like that, and the shooting doesn't have to be as high. What was really nice about the game last night was the defense, the effort, right? And the Magic are offensively challenged. They don't have anyone, especially with 3 of their top 4 scorers out right now. One of them not even coming back this season. So that's sort of harsh or rough for them, but still, I like the way that we took away Paul Banchero, and he went down in this game, and they didn't have a chance once that happened. But I love how the defense was there, the effort was there, the communication was there, most importantly, right? You'll have more effort it'll seem like you have more effort if you are communicating well and you're able to get guys and you're not getting mixed up in coverages. So, yeah, I'll be doing recaps after almost all of these games and highlights and other things coming out after every game. So make sure to stay tuned. Updates always on social media, Instagram, TikTok, and yeah, until next time, go Celtics.
Folks, this looks like it's going to be a layup. Watch Derek White sprint and tell Jimmy Butler, not happening here. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous.